guys, welcome back to Inspired Delusions.
Welcome back.
Hope you guys have been well and just keeping your head up with everything that's been going on, trying to find the positive in things, staying connected with friends and family and those in your community.
And really, really regulating your nervous system. That is something that I feel like this last 2 weeks have shown me, that regulating your nervous system is so helpful, because comparing 2020 to this year, I was stressed the fuck out in 2020. Like, so stressed, so sad, so overwhelmed. Well, I guess it ended up being good news in 2020, but before, like leading up to the election, I was so stressed. And I feel like this time, though the results were sad for many people, I feel like at least my body didn't feel like super stressed personally, because I think the nervous system regulation has helped me so much.
Yeah. I was like crying in bed the morning of the election results, and then I was like, what am I doing? I live in LA.
Yeah.
And lit a car, drove to the beach, walked outside, was climbing on rocks, grounding in the sand. And I mean, we're really lucky to live here, but I hope other people have been taking the time to be outside and, getting that direct sunlight, connecting with others, not being alone.
Yeah.
And yeah, just taking care of yourselves, because ultimately I've been trying to remind myself that even when things look horrible, the universe always has our back, and there's always something good that's going to come out of any situation, even if we cannot see it in the moment.
Literally.
That has been my mantra.
Yes. And that's accurate for, just small personal things, but also like on a large scale too.
Right.
So,
okay, guys, we kind of had an exciting week.
Yeah.
So Olivia got invited to a event, like an influencer event.
I had gotten this email for this invitation for this event, like I guess a couple weeks ago, and for some reason I don't know, I thought it was maybe like spam or something, so I didn't really look at it. And then I ended up looking at it like a day after they said that you have to RSVP, and I was like, oh shoot, okay, I missed this window. Like, this event actually looks really cool. Let me just email and see, like, hey, I'm so sorry, I'm just getting back to you, would love to come if it's still an opportunity, or like if I still can. And the event organizer ended up saying yes, because someone dropped out. And then so she was like, actually, someone just dropped out, so yes, you can totally come. So I was like, oh great. And then obviously I need Kayma to come with me to everything. Now I've realized, like, we're a package deal.
We are a package deal.
And so I emailed back, was like, oh, thank you so much, like, looking forward to it. Can my co-host come of my podcast? Can she also come? And then the event organizer essentially was like, let me get back to you on that.
Yeah, she was like, there's very limited seats.
Yeah.
We need to figure out something with numbers.
Yeah.
Let me get back to you.
Right. And so we decided to use the law of assumption and said, yeah, duh, of course she's coming. So I filled out a form for her. Yeah. She was like, hey, if you want to come fill out this form. I was like, okay, filled that out for myself. And I was like, you know what? Let me just fill this out for Kayma too. And we just decided to both show up, and it worked out perfectly.
Yeah. I rolled up to the event, and they were so welcoming, so friendly. Yeah. They were so happy I came.
Yeah.
And yeah.
Law of assumption 101,
the
baby.
The law of assumption.
We assumed it would be okay if she came.
And it was.
And it was.
So the event that we had gone to was for Self-Made, which is a skincare brand. And it was created by this woman named Stephanie Lee, who is so amazing.
Yeah, shout out Self-Made.
Yes, they're doing really good things. And her whole idea is really to make skincare that changes the way that we take care of ourselves.
Yeah.
Right? And also incorporates touches to yourself, nervous system regulation, being nice to yourself even when maybe your skin isn't presenting the way you want it to see.
Yeah, like wellness involved with skincare.
Right. Like, she's not like skincare is the only thing that will bring you these answers. Yeah. It's really like a whole system of things that will make you feel good.
Yeah. So it's very relevant for us to be there.
Yeah, it was right up our alley.
Yeah, nervous system regulation, mindset. And so the panel that was there, which you're going to talk about, who was on the panel?
Yeah, so one of the people on the panel was Dr. Janessa Johnson, and she's a chief therapy advisor and psychologist. There was a woman named Dominique Darius, which she's a basketball player on UC or USC's women's team.
Yeah.
And lastly, there was Stefania Okoli, who is a Pilates trainer and the founder of Solely Fit, which is like a Pilates clothing workout brand.
Highly recommend. Shout out all those girls.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, the panel is really cool, and we're gonna touch on some of the things they talked about because Kayma looked to me during the panel, was like, "Babe, we could be up there," and I was like, "Literally."
No, there was really a moment where I was like, "Oh, we know our shit. Like, we could also be talking about this because." Yes, A, it was right up our alley, but B, it's so important to get these conversations about wellness and mindfulness out there.
Yes.
And I can see the future. I can see the future, and that's us.
I can see the future. Literally, we're definitely going to be in panels, but for now, we have this podcast, which is beautiful.
Yeah.
But yeah, the panel was amazing. Do you want to kind of touch on like what they talked about?
So Dr. Johnson was talking about the definition of like rumination.
Yeah.
Versus intrusive thoughts.
Okay. Yeah.
Right. And so she simplified it really well, explaining that rumination is kind of when you're thinking about things over and over and over again. And you don't necessarily want to be talking or thinking of those things over and over again, but you can't stop yourself.
Yeah.
You're in a cyclic cycle of these like vicious thoughts, whatever they might be. Whereas intrusive thoughts are thoughts that are coming in that you don't want there to be there.
Yeah. Okay. Like kind of coming in randomly.
Kind of coming in randomly.
Okay. Because the rumination, I feel like those thoughts, you don't necessarily want them to be there either.
You don't, but you can't get it. You're stuck in them.
Yeah. Okay. So
versus like intrusive thoughts are kind of random.
Okay. Yeah. Like kind of a little bit in and out. Like it.
Yeah. Yes.
Okay.
Yes. That was my takeaway. From it. And for rumination, that really made a lot of sense to me because in the past, that used to be one of my favorite things to do.
Yeah.
If something, I know, and it sounds bad, but it's true. If something what I deemed bad had happened, whether, it was like socially or with a guy or with my family members, anything at work, if a situation happened, I would sit there and think about it over and over and over again. And I think what was happening, or what I know what was happening, is I was kind of getting energy off of that. I would be like, if I can think of these shameful moments of myself, nobody else can hold that power over me.
Yeah. And I mean, when you're saying favorite, I feel like thing that you felt comfortable doing over and over again, or like felt natural to you almost.
Right.
And that goes back to like our brain sometimes likes to do things that are not necessarily the best for us just because it gives us that like
the dopamine
yeah
kick.
It gives us the dopamine even if it's bad, essentially. Like even if I mean, I catch myself thinking about situations where it's like it's almost like fun to think about the worst case scenario, and you're kind of like sitting in it, like you're ruminating in it, you're sitting in it, you're thinking about this worst case scenario, and like it's still getting the energy and still getting the emotions up. But that's the whole point of what I feel like what we teach is like, okay, you need to really redirect your thoughts, and you need to really like be conscious of that and try not to sit in those negative thoughts and in those shame moments or whatever. But yeah,
I think what is hard for people, and what used to be hard for myself about thinking about the good things or hoping for the best things, is it sucks when that doesn't happen.
When the best case doesn't happen.
When the best case doesn't happen.
Yeah, totally.
That's what I used to feel in the past. But now I like really believe that what I think is the best case is so tiny compared to what the universe or source or God believes the best case is, right?
Yeah.
And I think, even with these election results, I'm really trying to hold on to that, and I'm trying to remind myself that we've done this before.
Yeah.
We've had these 4 years before.
Yeah.
And I'm in a place where I feel really strong and motivated and centered, and hopefully I can give that energy to my neighbor.
Yeah.
Or to someone else.
Yeah, totally. I think that's something that a lot of people worry about, of like, okay, well, I don't want to manifest, the best case or focus on the best case or get my hopes up, because if it doesn't happen, then I'm going to be disappointed. And I've argued with people online and been like, well, disappointment actually isn't real, which I mean, it is, but it's disappointment is just our ego thinking that we knew the best case scenario, right? Like we think that that's the only way we could be happy. We think that that's the only way that life can move forward in a positive way. But if you think about disappointment as, okay, it's not really real. Yes, I wanted something, I didn't get it, but you can still circle back and stay strong in your belief of like, okay, everything happens for a reason. If I didn't get that one thing that I was wanting, something better, something even better is coming. The universe always has my back. I recommend thinking about the best case scenario and trying to focus on that, because you're still raising your vibration. If you're thinking about the best case scenario and like focusing on the good, you're still raising your vibration, and you're still moving your life and your vibration, your reality in a positive direction.
Right.
And even if you don't get exactly what you want, you're still moving in a good direction. I promise you.
Right. And I think something that's a nice trick is, even if you can't think of like the best asbestos case scenario, right?
Yeah.
Sometimes that's not always sustainable. You can think of something just slightly better than where you are at in the moment.
Yeah.
And even if that's just a half a step forward, that's still, again, moving in the right direction.
Yeah, totally.
So Dominique, she was the basketball player on the panel. She had said that in the past, she used to get kind of caught up on what she thought other people were thinking about her.
Yeah.
And then she realized, why am I giving energy to what I think other people are thinking of me? Only person that I need to be thinking of. I'm the only person I need to impress. So I need to start doing things for me. And she said in doing that, she started to gain so much confidence. Then therefore, things started reflecting back to her.
Yeah.
And we were like, yup.
And that's something I feel like we've been thinking about and talking about lately.
Yeah.
Like anything that you think someone else thinks about you technically is still coming from your mind.
Right.
Like you are the one assuming that that person thinks that way about you. Like unless maybe they come up to you and be like, yeah, I think you're a horrible raggedy bitch, like to your face. Exactly. You are, unless they say that, you are assuming. Right?
You're assuming the bad thing. So why not assume the good thing?
Yes, exactly.
Oh my gosh. Duh.
Babe, you can actually, and that, goes to like the woo-woo side of things too, of like, you can literally assume something completely different from what, like, okay, someone, your enemy, a frenemy. If you think that that person doesn't like you and you've been holding that belief, holding that assumption for months, years, whatever, you can literally just change your mindset about it and be like, wait, actually that person really, or you can at least go neutral. That person actually doesn't hate me. That person actually thinks I'm pretty cool or thinks I'm amazing, if you want to go to the extreme. And I promise you, that's what Neville Goddard talks about. Like, you can change people's opinions about you from your own mind. And I know that sounds crazy and it sounds a little woo-woo, but, we're woo-woo on this podcast.
We like the woo-woo, actually.
And you can change people's opinions about you.
I also think about it as like, let's say you really think somebody doesn't like you.
Yeah.
You are going to continue to find evidence that proves that.
Yes.
They could be doing the most neutral things and you will find a reason to make that like an attack against you. And also the opposite is true about good things. If you believe something good, you will find evidence to prove that good thing.
Yes.
Everything all comes back to you.
Yeah, and your beliefs.
And your beliefs.
And your brain will prove your own beliefs to you. I'm so glad you said that, because that's such a good point and such a good thing to remember, that something neutral could happen to you. And if you believe that you're not worthy of good things, or you believe that person doesn't like you, you're going to interpret that as them being mean to you or them hating you or whatever. But if you literally have this belief of like, oh, everyone loves me, everyone respects me, you would interpret that differently. 1000%.
Right. Also, I have something funny to say.
What?
Remember a couple episodes ago when I was talking about how I was sad that I didn't get invited to get trauma trained?
Yeah.
So it turns out I did get invited. The invitation was in my email. And so I just got so sad for no reason. But let me say this. I did get myself out of it. And I was only sad for like a night. And then the next day I went to work and was like, yeah, fuck yeah. Of course I'm that nurse. Like everything's going to be good.
Yeah.
But I did just have to laugh about that, because I felt like that was a situation where I was kind of looking. I heard one person say, oh, they got invited to get trauma trained. And then I in that moment took it as a negative thing and was like, well, then why didn't I get asked to get trauma trained?
Yeah.
When in reality, that wasn't even it. I just made up that scenario in my mind.
Yeah.
So learn from me, you guys. Learn from my silly mistakes.
That is hilarious. That was such a good example. I'm glad that happened.
It was a good reminder for me because I was just like, what the heck? I made up that entire issue for no reason.
Yeah.
So that's why you need to continue to assume, even if you can't physically see it, assume good things are happening for you, good things are happening to you, and everything you will get that reflected back to you.
Yeah, always. I wanted to say one more thing about rumination.
Okay.
And like really thinking about those things that give us anxiety, or thinking about the things that, you know, thinking about the worst case scenario, or thinking about all these things that do give us that little boost of like dopamine, or gives us that little boost of energy because it's like spiking our energy levels essentially.
Right.
But kind of in a negative
way.
Yeah. That kind of goes to this quote that I've been really thinking about a lot lately, and I saw it a while ago, of don't be attached to your suffering. And I think a lot of people out there, not especially, but you know, some of my clients do this too, where a lot of people are attached to their suffering. Because if you have been suffering and thinking in this victim mentality and thinking about the worst case scenario and thinking about poor me, all of this stuff happens to me. If you have been thinking about that for years and years and years, a lot of people end up being attached to that feeling of suffering. And you don't need to be attached to your suffering. You don't need to be attached to this old version of yourself that is in that like victim mentality, or everything goes wrong for you, or whatever. You don't need to be attached to your suffering.
Yeah. Well, that goes back to, I know last time I said like the universe is neutral. I think your body and your brain are also neutral in the sense that they don't recognize positive or negative, right? It just takes whatever you give it to make yourself feel good.
Yeah.
So people being attached to their suffering, it's hard because I feel like when you are in such low vibrations, you don't necessarily know that you can feel better, and you don't know how to get out of that or how to take those steps because you rather feel bad how you are because you are comfortable rather than feel uncomfortable on your way towards feeling good.
Yeah, totally. Or thinking new thoughts, right? Like thinking new thoughts, thinking, oh, wait, actually, I am amazing. I am smart. Oh, I actually do deserve a good life. Like, oh, actually, things do happen for me, not to me. That all feels uncomfortable when you're first starting it. When you're first starting anything new, when you're first creating a new belief, when you're first thinking new thoughts, it all feels uncomfortable because it's new. And our brain doesn't like new stuff.
Right.
So it feels weird. It feels uncomfortable, but
you have to push past that.
You have to push past that, and you have to just ask yourself, okay, am I happy right now in my current reality, my current thoughts that I'm thinking? Am I happy? Like, it might feel comfortable because you're used to it. You're used to dogging yourself. You're used to being anxious all the time, but are you happy? And if you want to be happier, if you want to be more confident, if you want to improve your life, and if you want to improve your reality, you have to be like, okay, I'm ready to be uncomfortable and try thinking new things and try doing new stuff, and like do the scary thing. I think we should do a whole podcast episode about doing the scary thing, because I swear doing the scary thing, taking the risk, doing what's uncomfortable is the key to growth, is the key to living your best life. I like every time I do something scary or like put myself out there or do the scary thing with if it's like shadow work, looking within, I promise it feels scary, but it's actually ends up not being that bad. Like, it's really not that bad.
To get myself to do scary things, I always tell myself, as long as I'm not hurting somebody else, like, who cares?
Yeah.
There is somebody out there who's also done the same and are way better off for doing that thing that I deem as like scary or weird or cringy.
Yeah.
Right? Like, who cares?
Yeah, totally. I was talking to my client about that because she was scared to do something new, essentially. And I don't know, I was talking to multiple people about this lately, because I'm like, yes, doing the healing work sometimes feels hard or sometimes feels scary, and facing your demons and like whatever, putting yourself out there, it feels scary. But essentially we can all be brave. It's like, okay, maybe it's scary, sure, and maybe that scaredness isn't going to go away, but you can be brave. And this is actually funny because I do not consider myself like brave. I do not consider myself resilient. I do not consider myself competitive. Like, if there was a zombie apocalypse,
Oh, you don't think you're competitive?
Killing myself immediately. Because I don't like to be scared. Like, I don't want to be scared and running away my whole life. No. I don't consider myself competitive at all. You think I am? Like, sports, never cared. Was never competitive. Never.
Liv, babe, you are competitive.
I could be an Olympian athlete, but I don't give a shit about sports or like being athletic. Like, look at me. I am built. I'm the prime athlete body. Could be. If I cared. But I do not give a rat's dilly.
Okay. So apocalypse, you're out.
Wait, but you think I'm competitive?
I think like mentally, yeah.
Ooh, like what do you mean?
It's a compliment. It's not.
I mean, I know, but I like that you think that. But yeah. Oh, okay.
I don't think I think people think like competitive is like a bad word. Maybe
I don't even think so. I think it's a good thing to be competitive, but I don't think I'm competitive.
Okay.
Do I think I'm confident these days? I'm confident, but I don't know about competitive. But I'm just saying that I don't even consider myself very like
out there, go-getter, brave. Okay.
Very go-getter, very brave. Okay. Like, but even if I can do the healing work, if I can do the scary thing, if I can push through, then I promise you can too.
Yeah.
If that makes sense.
I guess.
No, if there was a zombie apocalypse, no.
Really?
Literally kill me immediately.
Oh, no.
Yeah, I don't like to even play tag because I don't like people chasing me.
No, if there's a zombie apocalypse, like, I'm gonna be all right.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
I don't like The Quiet Place, like stuff like that. I'm just like not like to be scared. I don't like to be running for my life.
Oh, I feel like I would do very well. But maybe that's just, there's a lot of things that I look at that I've never done before. And I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna do that very well. And
yeah, that's hilarious.
Yeah. No, but okay, wait. Talking about doing the scary thing and shadow work, one of my friends messaged me, who I didn't realize like was listening to our podcast.
Yeah, so shout out friend.
I know.
We love
shout
you.
out Jamie. You're such a sweet girl.
Jamie,
yeah.
Listening.
She texted me and she was like, dude, your podcast with all the like good arrows, the bigger arrows.
Yes.
But anyway, she was like, you got me to do my affirmations and morning meditation, which I haven't done in so long. Love you and thank you for the gift. What a sweet message.
Oh my God,
thank you for the gift. No, oh my gosh, that I like kind of got emotional a little bit because that was just it was so kind.
That's so kind. You're welcome, everyone, for this gift.
Yeah, keep listening to us. But then she messaged me again and was like, yo, I did some shadow work journal prompts from Chat GPT. And let me tell you, that was a therapy session.
Y'all, shadow work is
shadow work is
key.
real. It's key. And I bring that up to say, I think shadow work is what got me out of ruminating about bad things in the past.
Yeah, totally.
Because I think the component that I was missing in rumination, right? I was thinking these things in a loop, but I wasn't getting to the root cause of why it was making me feel some type of way.
Okay.
If that makes sense. Like I was just thinking of a situation over and over and over again, but I never said, why did that trigger you?
Yeah.
Why did that make you feel bad? And what do you want to take away from this?
Yes.
And when I started moving away from ruminating and started doing like shadow work prompts or looking at situations and really asking myself, why did that trigger myself? That's when I started healing and when I started doing better. And now if something like bad happens to me or I don't agree with it, I've really learned to cut down the refractory period, whereas I only think about it for a little bit, or maybe I need to talk it out with like you or my mom.
Yeah.
And then after that, I'm like, okay, let go, let God. Like it's good. And I think that's really worked for me because then I do start to look for the positives or I do start to look for a solution or the next move forward. And then everything has worked out.
Yeah.
Like now I get to look at myself and the past and evidence and be like, remember when that worked out when you didn't think it was going to?
Yeah.
And having that perspective just makes me feel really, really good.
I love that. Shadow work truly is key. Everyone go try it. Ask ChatGPT to write you some shadow work prompts about, XYZ, whatever you're trying to work on. And it just goes back to like awareness is key. Figuring out, like you said, like asking the why. Why are you thinking about this? Why do you have shame around this? Why do you not feel good enough of XYZ or whatever? And becoming aware.
Yeah.
That's when then it's like, oh, wait, I don't need to feel that way.
Yeah.
Like you're used to thinking about it over and over and over again, but then you don't, if you actually finally dig down to the why, then I feel like usually you're like, oh, wait, what the fuck? I don't actually need to think that way.
Right.
That's what happened to me with so many different shadow work prompts and how it's helped me so much, because I would answer these prompts and then it would get like, I would write it down and be like, what the fuck? why was I, why did I think that? Like,
Yeah.
why was I like having so much shame around that? Or why was I so embarrassed about that? Like, why actually taking the time to like write it out or think about it, you realize it doesn't actually, it's not that deep.
You know what? Shame is actually so horrible. It's one of the lowest emotions on the vibrational scale, if not the lowest.
I think it might be the lowest.
It's emotional vibrational
scale.
Shame
is crazy.
It's so crazy, and we give so much power to it. But once you release something that you deem as shameful, it's actually so silly.
It's so silly.
Because I think there's been moments that I've been ashamed of something and I've told somebody.
Yeah.
And they're like, that's what you deem like shame worthy. Like it's not, like it's really not that big of a deal. And then I'm like, oh wait, you're actually so right. Why did I give it so much power over myself? And then just moving away and taking steps away from that has really helped a lot.
Yeah. Bye-bye shame.
No, truly.
Bye-bye.
Truly.
But there was another girl at this event that we met that was such a badass.
Yeah.
She was 22 years old, we come to realize, after she spoke on the panel.
Yeah.
And she talked about how she had like multiple businesses, multiple nonprofits.
Yeah,
like,
she's like helping the youth,
helping the world. I was assuming she was probably like, I don't know, mid-30s.
Yeah.
And she tells us she's 22. So that gave us a big
We were like, oh. We were like, oh, what do you mean?
We were like, huh?
Yeah.
So that was a big wake-up call, because we were picking her brain of like, how does she feel so confident? How has she gotten so far? Like, give us your secrets, babe. And I think the main takeaway she was really sizing is what did she say?
She was like, I love failing forward.
Yeah, fail forward. And
she's like, it does not matter what you do. Even if you're failing, you're still taking a step forward.
Yes, you're still learning. You're still trying.
Yeah.
I think that goes to this quote that I feel like I keep seeing recently, which is success loves speed. And I think that just means like, you just have to try. You just have to try. You just have to put yourself out there. Like, instead of waiting until something's perfect, or instead of like waiting until you think you know everything or you're going to do everything right, like just try.
I think that's what a lot of people who have like really big like businesses, organizations, who are millionaires, billionaires, that's the thing. They're like, I was no different than you. The only thing is I started.
And the only thing is I failed 10 different times, and one of those times it ended up working.
Right.
Versus someone who doesn't even do it at all.
Right.
Then you're just stuck.
Exactly. So fail forward.
Yeah. Put yourself out there.
Put yourself out there. I think that's something I kind of had to get over.
Yeah.
Especially like the first few episodes, because I was just like, this isn't perfect. Yeah. Like, this isn't making sense to my brain. Like, why are we doing this? But now here, I feel like even in the past 3 weeks, we've grown so much.
Yeah.
Our community has gotten so much bigger. More people are reaching out, more downloads and follows and listens. Yeah. And it's wouldn't be here if we didn't start this a couple, when we were first starting this. Yep. And so it's excited. I'm really excited. I'm really emotional. This makes me so happy, because I think everything we talk about, like, we really do believe, we really practice it, and anyone can feel good.
Yeah.
Anyone can be happy, can be excited, can get anything that they desire, right? Like, there is so much out there for all of us. All we have to do is ask, and then put ourselves in a position to receive it.
Yeah. And convince your brain that you're worthy of receiving it.
Yeah.
And listen to this podcast every day.
Put it on repeat, you guys.
If you listen to this podcast multiple times a week, I promise you're going to start being like, wait, I do deserve good things.
Right.
Because we're going to tell you over and over again. It's just the content you consume. I was telling one of my clients, we've done a couple months of coaching, and then she's traveling, so we're taking a break, and I'm like, babe, yes, obviously I'm helping, because I'm amazing, but at the end of the day, just keep listening to podcasts that are motivational. Just keep watching YouTube videos that are motivational, talking about manifesting. Just like try to curate your feed to be a little bit more positive, to convince you that you can manifest anything, to talk about how powerful you are, to be more positive. Like, your feed, like what you listen to, what you watch, like all of that is important, because if you're listening to something over and over again, eventually your brain's going to believe it.
Right.
Like that's how our brains work.
Yeah. I'm still stuck on this Abraham Hicks rampage that we found. Like that has been hyping me up. There's a part of it when she's like, there's millions of dollars for you in like escrow.
Yeah, in your vortex kind of.
Right. Yeah. Like it is out there for you. All you have to do is to put yourself in a mental space to know that it's yours and you deserve it and it will come to you.
Oh my God. And something that I was just thinking that we should keep our audience updated with is just how we've been up leveling our money mindset. And I feel like me and Kayma have been trying to learn more about like abundance and how to draw abundance in. And
like the energetics of money and what it means to like receive that and pull it in. And the idea that like you don't have to work so hard. You don't have to bend over backwards to, you know, have a X amount of money.
Yes, make lots of money. And obviously money is important in this society at the moment. And so we want to keep you updated. And so like, for example, me and Kayma did this abundance ritual at the first of the month. And and now Kayma has been having random extra money come in.
I've had 4 different times what I deem large sums of money for just the randomness of it. And I was like telling Olivia, I was like, oh my gosh, like I don't even know like why this is happening. And she's like, I do. I know why it's happening. It's because you're getting aligned, like starting to shift your perspective of money. And I have been. And I'm realizing now like what's the value that I give money.
Right.
You know?
Yeah.
And I think I'm kind of maybe taking away value that I give money and putting value more on like my friendships, my quality time, my access to whatever, you know. And I know I said earlier in this episode that I was like, in LA, like why I sat in bed, let me go on a hike. You know, and so I'm trying to put value on other things that are really important. And I think with not putting so much pressure on the money is starting to flow in.
So, and I just like that. And I want to keep y'all updated because obviously we're on the up and up.
We are.
And we have big vision and goals for our money.
You guys, if only you knew, yes, with the money, but also just our goals in general. If only you guys, you would laugh.
You would
be like, those bitches are so fucking delusional. And we'd be like, well, yeah.
Literally. Some people are like, wait, am I being too delusional? I'm like, babe,
more.
If you know what my goals are, you would be flabbergasted.
Right.
And that's the only way to level up, babe. Be so wildly delusional.
Right.
Look at those 10, 15, $20 million houses and start to be like, wait, okay, someone has to live there. Like, why not me?
Right.
Starts to challenge your belief system and expand it. But we'll be keeping y'all updated because y'all are coming up with us.
And just like the little wins too with this whole event that we got invited to. Like even the fact that like it was you who got invited and then we just said, oh no, well, like we're going. And then we went and then we had the best day ever. We listened to such beautiful, amazing women speak. We met so many great people. Our minds kind of got expanded through the whole event. We were so lucky. Like we played. It was like a whole play date essentially. Like played padel. We've never played padel before. We got lessons in padel. We did mat Pilates, which if you ever see the video footage of that and you see me, no, you didn't. But like, it was so amazing. Like, and everyone there was so happy to be there. Everyone was so genuine. Everyone really understood the importance of mindfulness and mental health and community and really uplifting yourself and then in turn lifting those around you. And those are the spaces I want to continue to be in. I want this to feel like a space for you guys. I know when bad things are happening, it can feel so sad and so low energy, but it's really, you really have to be kind to yourself and find these little, what did you call them? Glimmers of hope.
Yeah, little glimmers.
You have to find the little glimmers because life is what you make it.
Yeah.
And I want to have the most amazing life and I want my friends and family and I want you guys to also feel that way. So
I love that. Speaking of friends and family and community, we are really excited because Inspired Delusions from the get-go, we're wanting to just keep building a community. And we just started a Telegram group message, group chat for the Inspired Delusion fam. So we're going to put a link to that in the show notes.
Yeah.
And we're going to start growing a Telegram group message so we can start like
sending you guys information,
Yeah,
like little tips or tricks.
Yeah, manifesting tips and tricks, how to be delusional.
Updates on us and like when we're putting out content.
Yeah, the podcast.
Yeah. We're like, I are like new to this, so we're trying to work out the kinks.
Yeah,
and
we're starting imperfectly.
We're trying to work out the kinks, and we really do want to give you guys like good product.
Yeah.
But yeah, we want you guys to come along the journey with us. So we'll put the link in the show notes, and then definitely join if you want that. We'll start posting more in there.
Yep, we're calling it, so far we're calling it Let's Get Delusional.
Yeah.
This is a channel where everyone can be very delusional, and we're excited already. It's been fun in there. So come join. We want it to get bigger and bigger and bigger. Yeah. Come join the delusional fam. Like, I think community is so important, especially these days. I remember when I started going on my like healing and manifesting journey, I didn't really feel like I knew a lot of people who were also on that journey, and it felt very like isolating. And I feel like community really helps with that. Yeah. So come join the Telegram, come join the delusional fam. We can be delusional together, share our wins. Yes. And everyone who's already in there, we love ya. Yeah. Hey girls and people. But yeah, I think that's all we have for this week. Yeah. We have a lot to be grateful for. Yeah. And hopefully you guys are finding that too. Yeah. And yeah, we will talk to you guys on the next episode. Yes. See you soon. Bye. Bye.